Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, Dr. Reynolds, to share about my research on expressive arts and unexpressed grief. Writing this paper was something else. All kinds of things happened with this research, from my laptop crashing to being in Africa and the portal not working and losing my paper over 3 times. It was just too much. But thank God that that's done. So I did my experiment on expressive arts. And in my paper, I wrote about different cultures, how grief and different cultures influence grief, cultures, religion, and how it's very important to have a support system. And I also talked about, even in the midst of having a support system and having a religion, which we know that religion does help ease grief, there are people who wish to grieve individually. There are people even though they're going for therapy, even though they have community, even though they are Christians, or they have a belief, a very strong religious belief, they still struggle with disenfranchised grief. They still struggle with complex grief. And so what actually made me do this paper in the first place was me really suffering from expressing my own grief when I lost my mother, and then also recently when I was having trouble with my health and just so many changes in my life. And I noticed that expressive arts, specifically drawing and painting, brought a lot of relief into my life. So I decided that I was going to hold a class, an art class, with 6 people in my church, my pastor being one of them. My pastor had just happened to lose his sister, and my pastor's wife lost her mother, and there were 4 other people in this group that I put together. So a total of 6, and all of them lost somebody. And my pastor drew, and he drew about losing his sister. It was so vivid, and you can see it here. That's him and his sister, and he talked about how they used to chase chickens, and he talked about, I'm missing my sister, and that was the topic of his drawing. And he said that after the class, after drawing, he felt at peace. And then we had Sister Mabel. She drew this. This was a picture of her and her mom, and how she's there for everybody, but there's so much emptiness, and she feels very empty. And she titled that Empty and Lost, and she said that she is a work in progress. And then we had another pastor in my church who lost her husband, and this was her drawing. It was very touching, and she was talking about how she just feels like she's in waves, and she just feels like she's in a tunnel. And she talked about how she feels like divided, and she has she did say that this one would be, the topic of this is a way out of my tunnel. And so she feels like she's in a tunnel, but she did say that she does feel a relief from God. Like, she feels relieved after doing this exercise, and that it felt very comforting. Now, my pastor's wife, she said that her emotions were going all over the place. She also talked about all of those holes and how they were empty, but how they started to get filled along the way, and her eyes were opening to so many things. And she titled this Showers After, I can't even see that first one, but it was after the rain. She said that she's grateful and she feels fulfilled. And then we had Pastor Ijoma. She talked about losing her bigger sister. She titled this painting Happiness of Mind. and how she just really feels empty now that her sister is gone. But she said that after this exercise, she felt relieved. And then lastly, we have Dr. Ann Okafor. She talked about how the big journey is ahead of her, how she's missing her brother, which is the big head over there, and she feels like she can't get to her brother, so she is the smaller head, and that whole gap in between is diaspora. She is in a different country. Both of them are in different countries, and she can't get to him, and she feels really sad. And she said that she feels a bit relieved, or that she felt a bit relieved after this exercise, and that the topic of this is the journey so far. And so I decided that, you know what, I'm going to keep doing this. I am going to hold a class of as many people who can come with a blank sheet of paper. We're going to have paint, we're going to have pencils, we're going to have colors, different colors, and we're going to have music, soft music in the background. People can come with their headphones if they want to, come with pictures or come with mirrors or anything that will propel them to or that will evoke emotion, just so they can express themselves on paper. It worked for me, and it's worked for these few that I have worked with, and I just want to see how this is going to work overall. In 2025, I am going to start doing this in New York City and also in Nigeria, West Africa. My whole aim of this is for people to release their emotions. So once again, thank you so much for this opportunity. My topic was expressive arts for unexpressed grief, and it is possible to heal individually, especially because with arts, with singing, with drawing, with painting, with knitting, all of that, it helps you to express yourself without any timeline, without anybody judging you, and it also has its own individual creativity that's of course stemming from you. So I want to encourage you to try expressive arts, try painting especially. You'll be amazed at what could come out of you, what you could create, and how that picture could interpret so many things to you and to others. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye. Think about what has hit you in your life. Something that caused you pain, something that caused you grief. Think about your mom.